twins in a shootout with the police over the past weekend. Hello again, and for our news in detail, the Acting Minister of Natural Resources and Energy, Jabulani Mabuza, says the construction of the country's strategic oil reserve facility will be starting in April. The minister says the ministry has already concluded talks with funders of the project. Eswatini TV's Samka Siwakoza has more on that story.
The newly established Eswatini National Petroleum Company is mandated to ensure uninterrupted fuel supply by constructing and operating the strategic oil reserve facility. The country's strategic oil reserve facility at Puzumoya area has three components, which is blending, refinery and storage. The Acting Minister of Natural Resources, Jabulani Mabuza, says the construction of the reserve will start around April or May.
Target here to the project ukuthi ngolomnyaka lapha bo April May bahamba sifisa kube March April kepha nje ke to be on the safer side sinasho sithi April May sifisa ukuthi ibe icala icontractor ingena esayithini yendalo umsebenzi walendansi uba impumelelo kepha ke kudawuya ngekuthi ama discussions ethu asichubekela kahle yini nalawo ma financiers labhekekile ukuthi sibambisane nawo ngoba ungeke utendele ngemali lesekhikhini awukhanza ukuthi wena unemali lengaka kanti le project mhlawumbe i-cost yayo ing2 billion so ke udzinga ke ukuthi kube khona lokhu finance kole mali lengaka. Very important projects for the country. Strategic oil reserve siyadzinga ukuthi sibe na fuel lesitambeka even nyalo nje na unaka uma ngabe siphumelele kahle siphumelele njengakweli plan kwala le strategy lokho ukuthi okungenani sikhona kuba na oil noma ke mhlawumbe na fuel longa khona kusithatha 60 days dinyanga letimbili ngiloko akhona fuel etingongweni noma ngabe sekwendeka kuvela siphi simo khanze ukuthi siyakhona kumdonsa for that period.
The minister also said apart from creating job opportunities for eMaswati, the construction of the oil reserve will ensure consistency in fuel supply in the country. Reporting for Eswatini TV News, I am Samka Suekoza with Sikumbuzo Dlamini Babane.
The Deputy Prime Minister's office notifies the elderly and the people living with disabilities and elderly grants recipients about the temporary suspension of the verification exercise that has been ongoing in the various social welfare offices across the country. The suspension is being necessitated by the ongoing challenges and difficulties experienced by members of the public due to problems caused by the recent rains in most areas. The Deputy Prime Minister's office assures the elderly and disability grants recipients that they will continue receiving their elderly grants during this period. Deputy Prime Minister's office further wishes to caution the public or the elderly and disability grants recipients to be on the lookout and be vigilant of fraudsters who pose as employees of the Deputy Prime Minister's office. And we move along and continue with the news. The Eswatini Tourism Authority Chief Executive Officer Linda Nxumalo urges eMaswati to make Bukana Festival visitors to feel at home and also behave in a proper manner. Nxumalo said this during a press briefing which was attended by stakeholders involved in the Bukana Festival.
Eswatini Tourism Authority Chief Executive Officer Linda Nxumalo pleads with eMaswati to ensure that all tourists who will visit Eswatini over the coming weekend are treated well. She says some of the tourists will be coming from Mozambique, South Africa, among other countries.
Tivakashi kulempela sonvo labanye basuka eMozambique, labanye basuka eSouth Africa lesesivile ukuthi bayeta nalamanye emavi batabe bakhona sicela nje ukuthi tivakashi atiphatheke kahle neMaswati atiphathe kahle nawo aphathane kahle.
Sinqephethelo Motor Vehicle Accident Fund Officer Dumisa Dlamini urges those who will imbibe emakani to stay away from the roads to lessen accidents.
The prevalence of pedestrian fatalities is high. One of
the master of ceremonies during Bukani Festival, Olga Dlamini, calls upon Lutsang and all eMaswati to attend the event in their numbers.
Isifiso sethu uthi siphume ngetinkani sibonile sisuke encwaleni bonkosi beyinhle ngendlela emangalisako libutho beliganzelana nathi siluthango Sithemba ukuthi njengoba sekuthiwe phezu komkhono siyawuphuma ngetinkani nathi siphelele khona esigodlweni ebuhleni.
Products of Emakano, including acha, muffins, juice, peanuts, among others, will be sold. On the other hand, Eswatini National Trust Commission says traditional food will also be sold, while Royal Villas Hotel promised to offer some of its dishes at a lower cost. For Eswatini TV News, Fortune Dlangamandla, with Skumbuzo Dlamini Mbabane.
The Nkanini area around Lobamba Ingundle was hit by a storm on Monday around 3 p.m. in the afternoon, and the storm is said to have caused damage in the fields, households and electricity poles. The storm occurred in the time when the country is also experiencing heavy rains accompanied by floods that also left intense damage on road infrastructure, fields and buildings. The National Disaster Management Agency, in conjunction with the Eswatini Bapalalu Red Cross Society, is yet to visit Nkanini to assess the damages and offer assistance where needed. The short-term outlook of the tropical cyclone Freddy indicates that it might hit Eswatini over the weekend. This was said by weather forecaster Pepisa Slongonyane during a press meeting on Monday.
Currently, it is just to the north of, the center of it now is just to the north of Mauritius, which is about maybe most probably 3,000 to 4,000 kilometers away from Swaziland. For now, we're saying we are very much safe. We're just saying we're just safe for now because it is a bit far away. But let's recall, it is moving towards the west, and the continent is to the west of the storm. So for now, tomorrow, going to Wednesday, we're expecting to track towards Madagascar, and then we're expecting to cross, get into the channel, most probably by Wednesday going to Thursday, such that most probably on Friday, going to Saturday, it will make what we call a landfall in Mozambique, the east coast of our region. We have what we call tracks, the movement, the direction the storm will take as it tracks or it moves towards Madagascar and towards Mozambique or the east coast of our region. Those tracks, some models, the ones that we are using, are showing that it may go to the north. The north of our region is most likely to be central part of Mozambique, that is your Beira, Nampula, those sites. Or it may track south. Another model is showing that it may track south, coming towards Maputo province. Once it goes there, that means it is very likely that it will be closer to us.
Staying with weather-related matters, the forecasters at the Eswatini Meteorological Services says the country is expected to have warm temperatures throughout the week, but there are expected rains with thunderstorms on Monday evening. This has been said by forecaster Sydney Lukele on Monday. Eswatini TV's Samkal Suwakoza has more on that story.
Over the past few weeks, the Southern Africa region, including Eswatini, has been experiencing heavy rains accompanied by floods that left road infrastructure, houses, and fields damaged. Speaking during a press meeting on Monday, forecaster Sydney Lukele said the country is expected to have warm temperatures with sunny intervals throughout the week, but there are expected rains with thunderstorms on Monday evening.
In terms of kubalela emathuba ukuthi sibone ilanga manengi kakhulu kuleli viki kulama kusukela nje namhla nakusasa sikhathele ukuthi litaba imvula lehambisana nekuduma ngekuthuba dantsambama kanti kusukela ngalesithathu kuye kulesihlanu sikhathele ukuthi litabe nje lingilelo lelivukane nkungu bese liba mabalengwe lilanga lonke kulamalanga lamathathu kusukela emva kwakusasa.
Lukele further pleaded with the Maswati to take safety precautions, especially during thunderstorms and lightning. Reporting for Eswatini TV News, I'm Samkal Suyokoza with Sikumbuzo Dlamini, Babane.
Religious leaders are expected to live a holy life and be exemplary to the people they lead at all times. These are the words of Sabalom Luli, the Vice President of the Eswatini Conference of Churches, during a training called Church Planting and Discipleship. The training was held at Divine Healing Ministries in Manzini on Monday.
The training is held under the topic Church Planting and Discipleship, which is being organized by the Eswatini Conference of Churches. This is basically the expansion and sustainable churches as well as maintaining them. The Vice President of the Conference of Churches, Sabelo Mdluli, says they have a way of dealing with churches that seem to be out of line in their operations.
The training today is going to benefit the attendees because they are going to leave this training with the information and with the right staff, if I can put it in that way, to do, or the right tools to do the work effectively. Yes, is to capacitate the leaders and all those who are called by God to do his work effectively.
The vice president of the Church Planting Institute, Pastor Gerhard van Niekerk, says the problems faced globally only needs prayer as a solution.
The answer to the world is Jesus Christ. And by making the true disciples, not just people who go to church, but true disciples of the Lord Jesus Christ, communities are changed. People are changed. You know, the church is probably the only organization in the whole world.
Last week, they were in South Africa. Next, they are going to Lesotho, then the USA and Vietnam. Reporting for Eswatini TV News, I'm Kian Msibwitz Muvashongwe, Manzini.
An inmate who was serving a 9-year jail term in the Picksburg Correctional Facility escaped on Friday, according to His Majesty's Correctional Services Deputy Public Relations Officer, Mapele Legnene. He says the escapee Ndumiso Khumalo was convicted of rape.
Ndumiso is of 47 years of age and escaped from custody during one of the sessions in our workshops, where they were expected to go and learn and be part of the vocational training. As the Correctional Services, we kindly request members of the public who may have information about the whereabouts of Khumalo not to hesitate, but to call the Operations Office of His Majesty's Correctional Services at 7606-2519, 7606-2519, or rather call the members of the police at 999, which is the emergency toll-free line known as 999. Ndumiso Khumalo was serving his 9-year sentence at Picksburg, having been convicted by the courts for the offense of rape. So as His Majesty's Correctional Services, we kindly request for the assistance of the nation in apprehending Ndumiso so that he may return to complete his sentence at the Correctional Services.
The Geology Department pleads for patience from Eswatini as they continue finding minerals around the country. Geologists say the helicopter will once again move around exploring minerals in other regions of the country.
On Friday, when His Majesty King Mswati III opened the 5th session of the 11th Parliament, he mentioned that Eswatini discovered minerals where a survey will be carried out in the Shiselweni and Lubombo regions. The Geology Department says they have finalized a report on the minerals for now. Ngamsle Keninza, a geologist, says indeed they are moving to other regions. They ask Maswati to exercise patience as the helicopter moves around.
We found good readings. We had minerals that we never knew were there. Where we found some there, we confirmed others, and what's left now for us to do is to go onto the ground and do ground truthing. So during ground truthing, we're basically verifying what we are seeing using, be it our aeromagnetic data or our remote sensing images. We encountered few, if little, challenges first time around. So we'd just like for them to continue with exercising patience with us. The aircraft makes quite a lot of noise, so they shouldn't worry about that. Even the speculations that funny or sinister things are being done are actually not true.
His Majesty emphasized that these minerals must benefit Maswati. Reporting for Eswatini TV News, I'm Kian Msibwitz Muvashongwe, Babane.
Out on bail, Mohalala twins in a shootout with the police over the past weekend. The Chief Police Information and Communications Officer, Superintendent Pindile Flagati, says during the shootout, one of the suspects who was with the twins was shot dead.
Royal Eswatini Police Services Chief Police Information and Communications Officer Superintendent Pindile Vilagati urges Maswati to assist police in apprehending the twins.
It happened that this previous weekend in Baban at Mawalala area, people were attacking other people, robbing them their items, were reported to one of the community members who went there to assist. And unfortunately, when trying to assist, he was also attacked and his firearm was taken, which was loaded with 24 live rounds of ammunition. So we appeal to the nation to assist us to locate these men who were attacking people. They did help us yesterday, which is Sunday, when they saw them. And when we went there to arrest them, they opened fire towards police. And in that exchange of fire, one of them was injured. And unfortunately, he was reported dead when we arrived in hospital. And we are appealing for the others to submit themselves or surrender themselves to the police, or anyone who may see them, may they call 999 on Mbabane police station. These suspects included the two twins which are arrested or are out on bail for a murder case that was reported in Mbabane some months ago. And we are appealing that they surrender themselves so that this can ease their cases.
The Mohola twins were out on bail after they were arrested on charges of murder in one of the hangout spots in Mbabane. They got bail on January 13, 2023. For Eswatini TV News, Fortune Dlangamandla with Smova Shonge Mahwalala.
More news for you in the world of business as we take a look at our financial indicators to see our markets for today in our financial report. Welcome back, and now for our sports news. The Eswatini Football Association Development Officer Friday Miani says there has been a concern on the drop of football standards in the build-it under 15 players, especially in Matsapa area compared to Mbabane. But what is encouraging is seeing the turn up of young players who take part of the build-it under 15.
The Eswatini Football Association Development Officer Friday Mian says there has been a concern of drop of football standard of the under-15 players, especially in Matsapa area compared to Mbabane. But what is encouraging is seeing the turn-up of young players who take part of the Build It under-15 tournament.
I mean, the two places in Mbabane, Matsapa, we are about to say that Matsapa, Bangapasanyana, Kunalaba Mbabane. And uma ukubuka ke technically uyabona ukuthi vele lo mthela ukuthi Mbabane banawo lama juniors leagues la functional cishe badlala umnyaka wonke vele lokudlala kwabo le technique yabo ingcono enalo competition bese kuyenda ukuthi ke vele ibangile kahle sinalo luhlelo lekuthusa borafela lolukhona borafela lesibasebenzisa konje ka Build It kuba borafela lesiassignwa ngibo ngilama regional associations lababuke borafela kulama regions if ungasho kanjalo incumbi yabo thola ukuthi ngilama young and upcoming referees kanti mina vele basena basic referring babese ke babanika ipractice ngekuthi babuye badlale sekulabantwana.
Mien went on to mention that referees are officiating in the Build It tournament have the best knowledge of officiating junior football in the Kingdom of Eswatini. Royal Part were the eventual champions of the Matsapa Build It under-15 tournament after defeating Young Heroes in the finals. Reporting for Eswatini TV Sports, I'm Linda Dlamini. Visuals from Football Association.
Staying with footballing matters following the announcement of the national players last week by head coach Dominic Nene and the preparations for the Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers where Eswatini will be playing against Cape Verde. The Football Association President Peter Smelane says they are yet to get a report from the CAF that allows the country to use Somhlolo National Stadium as a hosting venue. Linda Master-Dlamini has more on that story.
Following the announcement of the national team players last week by head coach Dominic Nene in preparations for the Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers, where Eswatini will be playing against Cape Verde, the Football Association President Peter Smelane says they are yet to get a report from CAF that allows the country to use Somhlolo National Stadium as a hosting venue.
Kwamanje sisamele CAF lokuthi sive kuye lokuthi uyasiniketa yini go ahead or not lokuthi sibambe lo mdlalo we Cape Verde la ekhaya lokwentekako on a regular basis CAF uyacela ukuthi ni improve certain things kule stadium sethu njengasomhlolo. So ke le process yokuimprove le tindvo hulumende ubusy uyadenta. Kule game nje letawulandzela with Cape Verde batawu assessa labaka CAF if we have met all the requirements or the minimum requirements labatsingako. From there ke batase bayasho ukuthi cha le game itawudlala la kithi kangwane noma ke we need to get a venue somewhere. So for the next game la mhla ka28 samele CAF lokuthi asitshele lokuthi vele sitawudlalela kuphi.
Sihlangu plays Cape Verde next month. Eswatini is alongside with Burkina Faso and Togo in Group B of the Africa Cup of Nations Ivory Coast 2024. Reporting for Eswatini TV Sports, I'm Linda Dlamini. Mbabane.
With those sports news, we hit the home stretch of our news bulletin at 8 at Eswatini TV. But before we go, here's a quick reminder of our news making headlines tonight. The Acting Minister of Natural Resources and Energy says the construction of the country's strategic oil reserve facility will be starting in April. Short-term outlook of the tropical cyclone Freddy indicates that it might hit Eswatini over the weekend. And out on bail, Mahalala twins in a shootout with the police over the past weekend. Beautiful Kingdom of Eswatini, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for making Eswatini TV your news channel of choice. We shall now cross over to the Weather Center for a detailed weather report from us and the rest of the team at Eswatini TV. For now, it's good night and God bless. God bless.